Andy Hodges had been handed a job no one else dared to accept. A direct order from Major General Harry J. Maloney, commander of the 94th Infantry Division, headquartered in Chateaubriand, France. It's a suicide mission, Maloney's chief of staff, Colonel Earl Berquist, had told him. But Andy had his orders, even if he'd most likely become the target of a German bullet. However dangerous the assignment, deep down Hodges welcomed the opportunity to serve his country. He thought about the lives that were depending on him, men with families in America, France, and Britain, mothers, fathers, wives, and siblings, who waited for a word of hope about their loved ones recently declared missing in action. He hoped he could save the POWs held in the Saint-Nazaire prison camp. The prisoners were cold, hungry, and becoming deathly ill. They needed help, and quickly. On that dismal pre-dawn morning in late November, a cold rain spattered the sleeping French countryside. Andy placed a white flag in the Jeep's front holder, climbed inside, and began his trek toward enemy lines. Probably no one expected his arrival on this day. In his hand, he carried a copy of a letter dated November 21st, 1944, typed in German on American Red Cross stationery. It was addressed to the camp's commandant, whoever he was. An den deutschen Kommandanten, Saint-Nazaire, it said. That's all. No specific name. I hope the commandant has already received the original letter I sent beforehand, but I have no way to know. The letter he held was his protection, his only defense, if he were stopped, questioned, and searched. But he knew it would provide little security against so brutal an enemy. In 7 or 8 hours, back home in Geneva, South Alabama, Thanksgiving Day would dawn. He wanted to be there, sitting in his chair around the big family table, with his new bride and toddler son, his parents, brothers, aunts, uncles, cousins, and longtime friends. He could almost smell and taste the traditional oven-baked turkey and cornbread dressing, marshmallow-crowned sweet potato casserole, last summer's homegrown canned tomatoes, and pumpkin pies his family would feast on that day. But the whole world was at war, and he had his orders. Dinners at home will have to wait till next year, or the year after that. I sure hope I get to sit at my family's Thanksgiving table again one day. As he drove slowly down the narrow path from Chateaubriand, he shined his flashlight on the old, crinkled map of France, the only one he could find. When he reached Chauve, he stopped and checked the tangle of thread-like roads that branched out like a spider's web from the small Allied-occupied village southeast of Saint-Nazaire, on the western coast of central France. Only about 4 miles to Saint-Père-en-Retz. That is, if I take the right road. He picked up a pen and carefully marked the route he had been advised to take. It was in the French language and was confusing. Northwest along Les Epinettes. Les Epinettes becomes Les Bourgs. Stay left along the Rue de Nantes. Andy's sense of direction wasn't so bad, but, except for a few words, he knew no French. Maybe if I'd played less football and studied more languages in college, I'd be better equipped for this mission. At least I could read this map. He worried about the accuracy of the faded map for the Vins-Angers region of France, and how much the area had probably changed during the years of war. He ran his hand through his thick brown hair and sighed. Must trust the map. No other choice.